9:15. Yeah, let's get Senator Amanda Shelton on the line
He
here.
must have said that like 3 times.
Yeah.
I get it.
Oh, well, we are sponsored by Ambrose. So. Senator Shelton, happy belated birthday.
Hey, thank you very much, Chris.
Happy belated birthday.
Thanks, Bree. Thank you.
Wow, so you kind of stuck out yesterday in session.
A little bit, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, you you took the floor. You made your stand. And what do you want to reiterate here on the radio show about why you were the only senator?
No. I know what you want to ask. So what did Regine say to you?
Yeah, that's what, can we just start with that? What happened there? Because I'm sure you saw there's a thing on Facebook with an overdub, but I was able to zoom into and there definitely was some type of exchange between Senator Regine Bisco-Lee, yourself. I also saw Senator Kelly Marsh Titano. Can you just please tell us what that was about?
Sure. Well, as you know, when we go into recesses, we talk about all different things, sometimes related to the bill. And I guess they were just a little surprised that I took that stance because I didn't share it with anyone completely before we went into the session yesterday. So they knew that I was still on the fence, that I was really mulling things over, but they didn't know how it would come out. And so they were just, sharing their surprise and questioning some of the points that I made, and we were just discussing my remarks.
It looked pretty heated, judging from the body language, but I gotta say, do you think you could take Senator Regine Bisco-Lee or what?
That's my friend, and she's a pretty tough cookie, so I don't think it'll ever get to that point.
I mean, but there's no doubt there was definitely some heat exchanged, and I mean, that's part of the process, is it not?
Yeah, it is. It is. There was some heat, but it was totally collegial, and there were no harsh feelings, nothing personal. We leave it all on the floor, and it wasn't heated in the way that it might appear on TV. You can only see our body language, but it was a very collegial and professional conversation. I can assure you that.
What was Kelly Senator Kelly Marsh Titano? What was she saying?
I don't recall exactly what she said, but I know she was curious about why I chose to go in that direction, and they were kind of just wanting to go through some of the points that I made to understand why I chose that a little better for themselves.
Right.
So were you aware at the time that you made your speech on the floor that this transparency initiative was coming down from Adelup?
Well, I heard that there was a plan. I never saw anything in writing. I never saw a draft or what the plan was specifically, but I was aware that there would be a plan. And so that didn't really, play into my decision. My decision to vote no on the override veto was really because I read over the bill. I reread the bill. I studied it a lot. I studied the governor's veto message, and I just felt that the bill was not accomplishing what we were trying to accomplish. And that's because I don't think that we're able to really legislate the kind of transparency and trust that we were all kind of looking for and hoping for yesterday. So, with that being said, I know the bill was passed yesterday. So right. I hope that is kind of a wake-up call for the administration to say that, people are unhappy. We recognize that people are unhappy, and let's just do better and work together and move forward.
So what do you say to those people who, critics who are going to say, oh, Senator Shelton, she was just going to bat for the administration, because you have to admit that's kind of what it looked like.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if that's what people are saying and that's what people are thinking, I just want to say that I was the one person who voted no out of 15 people, and I honestly voted with my conscience. I looked at that bill and I knew that I couldn't vote yes to an override because it wasn't the measure that we needed. It didn't have the mechanism that was needed, and so
but what changed from 2 weeks ago when you passed it, voted to pass it?
Sure, I grappled with that myself.
Mm-hmm.
How would it look if I decided to vote no yesterday based on my yes vote from a few sessions before? And I kept thinking it and reading it over, and I realized that I learned something from the last session when we went in and we were discussing the curfew bill for the governor to be able to have the power during a time of emergency. That was my bill 335.
Right.
And, many of my colleagues brought it to my attention that we weren't going to have any enforcement mechanism. There was no penalty attached to the bill. So it really didn't do anything. And, the speaker had her companion legislation for the penalties, which was set aside. And so it would be a bill that I did believe in, but it wouldn't have the teeth and the mechanism necessary to make it work. And that's what I saw in this bill yesterday. I saw, as I was studying it all weekend, and that's the point that just kept blinking at me. And I saw that, and I knew that I learned my lesson in the last one. And being that it was a veto measure, to override a veto, there's no way to go back and to fix a measure on the floor like that. So I just had to vote my conscience and to vote no.
I just got to read some of the comments here. I'm pretty sure you've seen, you can guess what they might be. Future ex-senator on line 2. Glory writes in, she loves the governor. Harvey, from ex-senator to $150,000 a year job at Adelup. In your office, if it ain't personal, come out and face the people of Guam and see how personal they get. Dwayne writes in, but you put religion in that statement.
Yes,
and Andrew, I want to go to that, Senator. Let me just read a couple more of these. I pray for your sake that your supporters see the same thing that you're seeing. So let's just go back. I don't know. This probably is an oversimplification, but when you name drop Santa Maria Kamalen, it almost seemed like you were implying that Santa Maria Kamalen would not want us to override this veto. So how do you respond to just the use of Santa Maria Kamalen? I get what you're trying to do, but people are saying they don't know why you brought that up.
Well, I brought up Santa Maria and Kamalen because of the experience that we all just went through this past weekend. I think that was a really moving experience, and the people of Guam felt it, a renewed sense of hope, a renewed sense of faith that we are all longing for. This is a really, really difficult time for everybody. And yes, I understand the suffering that we are all going through, and some out there more than others. And I realize that, and I saw this weekend that we had this visit of Santa Maria to all of our parishes throughout all of the village, and that was a really beautiful thing to see, and it gave me a lot of hope, and it gave me a renewed sense of faith that I want to continue to build on, because I know that we need to have faith in ourselves, faith in our government, and faith in our future, that we're going to get through this, and we have to get through it together. There's no other option for us. These are the elected officials that we have, the governor and the lieutenant governor, us in the legislature. We are the ones here, and we are the ones who need to respond to these issues. And so although I didn't think that Bill 333 was, the right response, it didn't achieve what we were trying to achieve, the everyday transparency that we're looking for. It just can't be legislated in that way. I know that moving forward, the governor and the lieutenant governor, the whole administration sees that we have to do better. And they put out, that EO yesterday, and I'm glad for that as well, because there are all these different measures. And so I hope that we never need to turn to this piece of legislation or wonder where is that enforcement mechanism that we need. I hope that we don't need that anymore, because there won't be a question about the trust and the transparency moving forward, that everyone is going to do better.
So do you think Santa Maria Kamalen wants more transparency from the leaders of the world, or do you think she's good?
I think Santa Maria Kamalen wants what's best for all of us. And yes, transparency is good, and transparency is needed in everything that we do as government leaders.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just feel like, Santa Maria and Kamalen, what happened over the weekend, it wasn't for me about
giving the governor a pass.
Right. It was more just a personal thing for me, that it's going to be okay, that my life is going to be okay, that my family's going to be okay, not that the government is going to be okay, the governor is going to do the right thing, the legislature is going to do the right thing.
I get
so
what
I
you're
think for
saying.
people, it might have been a little offensive that you would use Senator Maureen Camelin.
You're basically saying,
No,
Senator, that
That's
you got...
just how I feel. I mean, I don't think she has anything to do
Right.
with the legislature or...
I don't want to
the
speak for you,
governor or
Senator
Adelaide.
Shelton, but you were
That's just where
basically
I'm coming from.
saying that you were in your feels because Santa Maria Kamalin, and she gave you that renewed sense of hope that, man, I think that we are just going to get along and everything's going to be...
No, and I don't think that we're just going to get along and everything's going to be fine because we're praying about it. But and I didn't mean to offend anybody by sharing my faith with others, but I really believe that we need to turn to God right now, that we need prayer, and that we need the guidance and intercession of Santa Maria Kamalin to lead us through. And that's what I'm talking about. I have the belief that she will guide us in all that we do.
Okay. Andrew writes in, I commend you on standing your ground,
Mm-hmm.
but people are suffering and all elected officials should be for the people. So, anyway. How does this affect your
I
relate?
believe what I did, and I stood on my ground to say that I am here for the people. And one of, I think, a huge responsibility that we have as legislators is to make good policy, is to be thoughtful and to, make really good policies that we know will work and that we know will get the job done. And so that is what I was doing on the floor yesterday. That's why I voted no, because I know that we can do a better job.
Yeah. Hey, and I remember with the curfew thing, I mean, you called in, you were getting a lot of flack, a lot of heat, a lot of hate. You called in, you stood your ground, you defended yourself against the criticism. What would you say to those people who think that you got something, you're going to get something for your no vote from the administration?
Well, I would just say to them again that I didn't vote no as a favor to anyone. I voted no because I voted with my conscience. And as you can tell, no one else voted along with me. It was just me, and I don't expect to get anything from that. I voted because that's truly how I felt, and I want to show the people of Guam that I will be sincere in all of the work that I do. I will vote with my heart, with my conscience, with what I know is right, and put that sincerity above all else.
Oh, there you go.
No, I'm...
Go ahead, Sabrina.
No, I'm good.
Yeah. Please do, Sabrina.
No, I'm fine. I'm glad you voted the way you did, and
Well, I just
how you feel.
Yeah, I appreciate that you can come in and
And
tell.
you stood your
stand by it.
ground.
I mean, I don't agree. I think that we can and we did legislate transparency. I mean, you're right. We can't legislate trust, but like I said, I appreciate you defending yourself, but I think that the administration brought this on themselves, and anybody who, you don't need a weatherman to know which way the wind blows. And right now the wind is blowing hard for more transparency. And when you were the lone voice to stand up, and whether it's on the technicalities or whatever in the bill, I mean, the optics are that you stood up and you don't want any more transparency than is already being given before this bill was. I mean, and I know you're smart. Yeah.
I just think at the end of the day, it's embarrassing that we're even having to legislate this.
Yeah.
Or having discussions about transparency, and senators having a problem with getting documents. I mean, Talina Nelson, the vice speaker, she just voted for documents.
It's crazy.
And when
I think, Senator, your comments would have been maybe at the beginning of this, before the administration screwed it all up with the transparency thing. They might have been relevant before, but we're at a point where, like we said, I mean, you guys are out of the loop. The mayors are out of the loop. The doctors are out of the loop. The people of Guam aren't getting... So, obviously, transparency is...
What I said at the beginning of my remarks was that it's absolutely unfortunate that we are, that we had to go into session yesterday and that we had to start all of this with a bill about transparency, that we came to that moment. But what I think happened yesterday and what I think transpired over the last couple of weeks is that, the administration is on notice. They have the clear message that they need to do better. The bill was, the override was overturned. It went forward. And so they know that they need to do better. And, you know, we as co-equal branches of government, there's no way that we can get through this without each other. We need each other to move forward. And so that's what I am committed to doing, to moving forward and to doing whatever we need to support the people of Guam, because we have the same mission. We all have the same goal here in government, and that's to serve the people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Senator.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Take
Yeah.
care. Stay safe.
Be
Let
safe.
us know, you know, anything you got going on. You got my number. You're always welcome on the show, Senator.
Yeah, I really appreciate that, you guys. Take care, and thanks for continuing to share the info.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Wash your hands, okay?
I will. Thank
Okay.
you. Bye-bye.
9:31, Guam's favorite. It's the K-Wave News Takeover containing COVID.